your dad went through a tricky time.
He was in such a dark place of himself and he couldn't get out of that. You rely on drink and drugs. We always say if he didn't go rehab second, he probably wouldn't be here now.
You wrote a letter to your dad once. What was the letter you wrote him?
Hi, I'm Dani Dyer and I'm in great company.
Our favourite Love Island superstar,
Dani Dyer.
Please welcome Dani Dyer.
You decided to go and do Love Island.
I was 21. My dad obviously was fuming about it and he did not speak to me until literally the day I was going to the villa. He went, see you in a couple of weeks.
It was a protective thing.
Yeah, he was worried about me.
Would you let your kids do it?
Oh.
But then you come out and there was like a spotlight on your relationship.
I genuinely thought I've met the one. Jack was just on a completely different page to
Were you
what I
suddenly
wanted.
famous?
So he just wasn't compatible out on the outside world.
And then you have your son.
Yes. Because some people go back to their exes and it is the most successful relationship. Every decision you make, good or bad, leads you to the path you're meant to go on. And having Santi changed me as a person.
Your ex-partner went to prison, right?
He did. And that was a really hard time. I felt like I'd done the crime. When he went to prison, everyone sort of blamed me. You know, the press were accusing me and I just really loved the wrong person.
Did you ever visit him in prison?
Now, I always speak openly. Birds on fire. And he's shagging Dani Dyer. Do you know my little boy says kissing? He sings it in the back of my car sometimes, Santi. I'm like, that's your mother you're speaking about.
Guys, welcome back to Great Company Podcast. If you're a new watcher, thank you so much for coming to the show. My name is Jamie, I'm your host. And if you're an OG, you know exactly what you're in for today. Today's episode is so interesting and captivating and engaging in so many different ways. So many things you're going to learn today about Dani Dyer that you never ever knew, which I'm really excited for. So I'm just going to get straight into the episode. But before we do that, I know I say this every single time, but I want to say that if you are new to this or you're old to this and you haven't yet subscribed to our community, if you can click that subscribe button, it takes 1 second, it's completely free and it does us absolute wonders. It means we can keep making the show that we love to make and keep delivering the content and interviews that you love watching and engaging with so much. If you can do that one favor, I'll thank you forever. Okay, here we go. Enjoy this amazing episode of Great Company with Dani Dyer. You're a wag, though, now.
I hate that word, Jarrod.
Okay, well...
But I don't understand why, because it's just wives and girlfriends. I just think it's the way it's said, like she's a wag.
Okay, well, Jarrod plays football for West Ham.
Yeah.
What are some of the chants that the fans...
Oh, what? Whoever made that chant, they need to DM me and let me know who it is, because I want to know.
What is the chant?
What birds on fire. And he's shagging Dani Dyer. Do you know my little boy says kissing? He sings it in the back of my car sometimes, Santi. Bones on fire and he's kissing Dani Dyer. I'm like, that's your mother you're speaking about.
So,
I can't even ground him. He's
that
too
is
small.
a fire. And he's shagging Dani Dyer.
Yeah, shagging. No. My dad sings it. He thinks it's brilliant. He says he starts to chant off sometimes. I'm like, yeah, all right, mate.
Wait, so you live close to your dad?
My mum and my dad, yeah.
How close do you live to them?
7 minutes away.
7 minutes?
Yeah.
Driving or walking?
Driving, yeah. Walking is a bit dangerous where we are.
Do you think you'll ever move away too far away from your parents?
I don't know. If we had to, I would. But I do like having them around. Because obviously Jarrod's family is so far away. Like so far away from us. So they're my only little comfort blanket. So I like having them near me. I've always been very near. I was 20 minutes before and that felt far.
Really?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
How close are you to your family?
So close. I think because they had me so young. Like they were 18 when they had me, my mum and dad.
That is crazy.
Yeah, they were babies. Like babies. So I think that's why they've sort of brought me up. I mean, they were kind of like still teenagers in a sense, you know what I mean? Like, so they're like my friends.
Really?
Yeah, it's great.
But explain that to me. So what is it? Because I find this with, when I married Sophie, right?
Yeah.
What I sort of didn't, when you marry someone, you forget that you're marrying the whole family as well. You think you're just marrying that same person.
Yeah.
And I got very lucky. I married like into like her family, which are amazing. But she's very like, my parents are my parents.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely see them as parents.
Yeah.
And I probably wouldn't, I can now, but I wouldn't like smoke around my parents. I wouldn't swear around my parents. And I wouldn't, I had this sort of relationship where Sophie they're like mates.
Yes.
But also parents, but also like mates.
Mm.
And I found that like it was like this really close. I'm close with my family.
Yeah.
But it's a different sort of closeness when you feel like you're mates with them.
Yeah. It
So
is-
you have that.
Yeah, very. See, my mum was always a lot stricter than my dad. So like, and it used to annoy me when I was a teenager because I was always first home. They used to always had to be the first one in, and they'd always catch me. Because obviously at 14, 15, you want to go over the fields and drink a bottle of Glens. That's all. I weren't harming anyone. We used to have Glens and a bottle of Boost and just swigging it backwards and forwards. And then I used to watch a trailer of a film and then tell them the film that I've definitely not watched. And they'd always catch me. And they would ground me. So they would, and my phone was taken off me every night until I was 16. Like I used to try and swap SIMs out and put the SIM into another phone and they'd still catch me. So they was strict. But as I've got older, I've always told them everything, which did always shoot me in the foot a little bit growing up. But yeah, we are real close.
What was it like growing up in the household, in the Dyer household?
You know, it was great. I had a really good upbringing, Obviously, I always remember, obviously my mum and dad weren't together for the first few years of my life. And then they would sort of, it's funny because I used to know on a Friday night whether my dad was staying or not, because I'd be like, you staying over tonight, Dad? And now I kind of get it. It makes me feel really sick. But because he used to
What were they doing, do you think?
Well, I don't want to go into that. But he used to always read me, of a Friday night, he'd come over and read me the Roald Dahl books. He was so great at the actors. You ever read the book The Twits?
Yeah, I loved it.
I loved that. So he was always over on a Friday night. So yeah, the first few years they was very off and on. But I had a great childhood.
You can remember that as well?
I can
what
remember
What
that.
age are you at that point?
Maybe 4 or 5.
Really?
I can remember little segments of them. I always remember he bought me a dressing up box and I had all the fancy dress outfits in it. My mum's like, she's not having that. And she left it outside. This is when we lived in Canning Town. She left it outside and then when he walked away, she went, you can have it, darling. And then she brought in the fancy dress box. Honestly, they were so toxic at a young age. But they've been together since they were 14, my mum and dad.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So they have been through it all together. Do you know what I mean?
But what does that do as a young kid when you see your parents fighting with each other and having arguments because they're young, right?
Yeah.
And they always say and I'm going to talk about this with you, but they say having a child is like having a crisis in a relationship.
Yeah.
It throws up everything.
Yeah.
I mean, from feeling lonely to feeling anxious and not knowing what to do to having sleepless nights to having arguments. And when you're 18, 19 years old, you don't even know who you are.
Of course
so
you
then
don't.
throwing that crisis into a relationship is a nightmare.
And I think my mum as well was my dad has always been an amazing dad. He is phenomenal and so is my mum. But obviously my dad I don't think was ever ready to have a baby so young. Do you know what I mean? Whereas my mum, we'd go everywhere with her. I'd literally go everywhere with my mum. And it'd be even if you went to a pub, you know what I mean? You put the 2 chairs together, I'd have a nap on the chair. Do you know what I mean? It was,
Really?
I was so close. We did everything together, do you know? And as we grew up, I think with my dad, he was always working a lot. You know, he was sort of trying to make it out and trying to obviously become an actor and he's obviously smashed it now. But yeah, there was years of obviously when they weren't together, but I always remember them being together. Because they wasn't, but they was. Do you know what I mean? But they're a couple that could never not be together.
Explain that to me.
They just love each other so much. You walk into a room and you just know they're in love, and I love that. They do. You always catch them kissing, cuddling, and when I was young, I'm that's so gross. But growing up now, I'm no, I like that. I love how in love they are.
I always think I got told something by someone about relationships, which is where if you can see yourself spending 10,000 hours with that person, you want to go, forget what they look like, forget all these different things. Can you spend 10,000 hours with that person?
Yeah.
If you look at your parents, it's well over that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Since 14 years old to being now.
14. Yeah. 14. It's incredible the journey they've had. But yeah, you can just see in a room that they're meant to be.
But when you're growing up and your parents aren't together, what does that make you? Did that make you feel a certain way? Because did you have to grow up quicker in a way?
I think so, because I was an only child as well for a long time. Obviously, my sister's 18, so I was 11 when she was born. So it was really me and my mum for a very, very long time. And obviously, my mum took ages to get pregnant with my sister. It just took her a very long time. So then when my sister came along, it was a massive adjustment then for me, because obviously there was a new baby in the house. But I think, have I grown up quicker? I don't know. But I do think, you know, with my mum and dad, we've always been very close, no matter what. I've always been able to tell my mum everything, tell my dad everything. Sometimes I tell my mum things and my dad other things because my dad's a little bit softer than my mum. She's a little bit more stricter.
Were you a popular kid?
So when I started, so I was in school. We lived in Canning Town and I went to a school there. It was like in East London. So we moved from East London to Essex and I was 12 and that was a jump. Like, I know it's only half hour up the road, but it was a massive cultural shock.
Why?
Because in East London, I can't expect, no one really had anything. So like, no, you know, you'd turn up in your Primark pumps and your Primark bags. No one batted an eyelid. And you moved to Essex and it was very like, we had to wear Prada shoes. So we started school.
Get out of here.
Yeah, so you started the school and I mean, they banned it when my sister started that school, which I'm really happy about. So yeah, you go in and you have to wear Prada shoes and at the time it was Paul's boutique bags and your skirt had to be rolled up a certain way and perfect foundation. It was a massive jump.
That's pressure.
It was pressure. And I remember crying to my mum going, you've got to get me out this school, mum. She was like, just give it to the end of the summer, see how you get along. And if not, I will take you back to your old school, because that was just do it bags and I could wear trousers and it was so different. Canning Town to
That is so funny that like geographically not even that far, it's a completely different change.
Completely different. Because in East London, no, it's not really about money or status or anything, but Essex is quite like that, I think personally.
Yeah, but I think you're probably right.
Yeah. The first 6 months was really hard, but then, you know, you lead your way up.
But that's almost hard as well for your parents, because with your kids, right, you want them to stay as naive as possible.
Yes.
You want them to stay young and you don't want them to be obsessed with materialistic things.
No, but it is like, people probably hate me for saying it, but I do think Essex is very materialistic.
I think the world is materialistic.
Yeah, it's become a lot more like that.
Who was your first boyfriend at school?
Oh, my first boyfriend, I was trying to think about my first boyfriends the other day. I don't know why. I'm trying to think of my proper one.
Well, who's your first kiss?
Right, he was called Charlie.
Okay.
He was called Charlie. He was my first kiss, and we was on. He had like a little brick wall, and I remember
He had a little brick wall that like carried around with him.
A little brick. It was outside his house. He had a brick wall, and I was drinking a Capri Sun.
Yeah, there we go.
And he took the Capri Sun out of my mouth and kissed me.
Absolute stud.
Yeah,
Really?
He was my first proper. I would say, I mean, we were so young, like very, very young, but I really did adore him actually.
Were you doing drama at school?
I love drama. Like I really did. There was a part of my life where I really wanted to do acting. Like
Really?
I loved it. Like that's the only A star I got actually, GCSE. We never made it to A levels, but that's okay. GCSE A star, I will always hold that.
Really?
I worked hard for that A star. I made sure as well to the teacher, because she'd put out groups who was going to be doing obviously the GCSE drama. And I said to her, you better give me a good group. You bet, because there's some kids in here that have took this for fun and it ain't fun, okay? This is hardcore. And I did get all the good ones and we smashed it.
Why didn't you take acting further?
I just don't think I had enough confidence. I lack so much confidence. I'm terrible for it. I just didn't have that. And I always thought, I'm not really good with rejection. So it was like you'd go for auditions and it'd be no. And I felt like, I can't stop crying. This is just not good for me. This is not good for me at all. And my dad used to be like, you just have to keep going. For him, he either wanted to do acting or be an artist because he loves to draw.
Wow.
But he just kept pushing and pushing. Whereas me, I never thought I was going to be good enough at it. So in the end, I just was like, I'm just going to stop it.
Wait, Dave, talk me through that. You feel like you lack confidence?
Oh, massively. I've always been the sort of person, if something's really good is happening, then I'm like, oh, something bad's going to happen. That's what happened now. But you know, like that whole thing of like, yeah, I just lacked confidence, especially in my teenage years. So I think when it was like being 16, I remember when I left, to be fair, I started college and I went to this little college and it was like musical theatre, and I wanted to do musical theatre. And then no one really ended up doing musical theatre, to be honest. We was out and doing God knows what. Do you know what I mean? So, and then I did get, it was random because my dad was filming a show, and it was Vendetta, a movie.
Yeah,
and the girl was pregnant and she's meant to be dragged out of a car. And because she was pregnant, they was like, we can't use her. And my dad was like, oh, my daughter might do it. And then he rang me and was like, do you want to fill in this next week? I was like, absolutely. And I did it and I loved it. And then I did another film called We Still Kill the Old Way, and I loved that. Like, they were like British gangster, that kind of movie thing. And I did love it. Like, I enjoyed it so much. But then I think I was always going to be compared to my dad, and I can't bear that. Always going to be, I'll get it all, Nepo baby, all that sort of stuff. And I found it really hard. Like, I did a little stint on EastEnders. Like, I did during COVID. There was like an EastEnd, and the woman was pregnant, and my dad had to do like a scene with her. And during COVID, they wasn't allowed to be like close with anyone. So my dad was like, "Do you want to do it, babe?" I was like, "Go on then." And again, I loved it, but I had so many hate comments. I was like, I just can't put myself through it, and it was always I'm a nightmare.
But the first thing I want to say, that's not being a nightmare. That's like, it's understandable that it's hard, because having, you know, Dani Dyer seen it like as your dad, who is sort of an icon in the British like film industry. Yeah, it is hard because whatever you do, you're going to be compared. Yeah, and whatever you do, people are going to say it's because of your surname, and whatever you do. But and if you lack the confidence, then, which you're saying you do, it's quite hard to push through that. Yes, because you don't want to deal with those comments. No. Just like, I don't care. I'd rather just not do that to have to face up to that. Yeah, because I think you're either going to ignore them and move on from it, or let them kind of win. And in a sense, I just never really. I can't, I'm terrible with it. I'm so bad at it. I know you're meant to have this whole thick skin thing, but I don't have it. I'm like... Yeah, but good on you for saying that. Because so many people right now listening and watching will be agreeing with you so much. Yeah. When do you remember that confidence started to drop? What age was it? I would say probably them sort of teenagery age. You know, like when you're in like secondary school and stuff. But why? What happened? I don't know. I really can't put my finger on why I'm like it. Like, I remember at school when I was... What was it called? I think I was like year 7, year 8 at the time. And this boy always used to pick on me for my nose. Like, I did have a nose job actually, but I loved it. Best thing I've ever done. Everyone has a nose job since that. They're like, it's the best thing I've ever done. Best thing I've ever done. And don't worry, a lot of people have had nose jobs as well. I would go for a nose job, honestly. You don't need a nose job. Well, maybe I wouldn't. But I loved it. But in school, he always used to call me carrot nose. It was so horrible to me, like bullied me for my nose. I remember thinking I'm getting a nose job. I was like 12 and no. Really? I don't know. I just think you're either confident or you're not. And I've just never really had that, ever. But I think, when it got to, when I was about 16, 17, maybe 17, I did obviously them films. And then I did... Vendetta, and then I did We Still Kill the Old Way, and then kind of turned 18. I was still auditioning and nothing ever really was happening. And then obviously a few years later, that's when I went on Love Island. So, you know. But it's one of those things, right, which is where you're 18 years old and you've done a few films. Yeah. And it is that thing, what your dad said, where you have to keep doing it. Keep going. You have to keep going. Yeah. Because I imagine, you know, your dad as well would have been in the same position where he had some films, then didn't have some films, and then he had to keep pushing for it. And that it's that resilience that you have to keep doing to keep going. Yeah, 100%. And I have zero patience. Really? Zero. Because I remember then I was training as I was a dental nurse, so I did dental nursing in between, because my mum was like, you got to get a job done, you know, come on, got your national insurance number, let's get you working. And I loved being a dental nurse. That was fun. So I had something to keep me going, but I think where I just lacked it and thought, there's so many people out there that want to be an actor. Yeah. I just never really pushed through it. I just sort of left it a bit. How's your confidence now? I'm up and down, I think. Like, I'm so happy where I'm at. Do you know what I mean? Like, currently I'm in a really good place. But I think you know what this industry's like. You have your good and your bad. But I mean, as a person, I think that's just who I am. I think I could have therapy every single day. I would just always lack it. That is my most, Would take an anxious thing? Yeah, definitely. I think my anxiety, now it's good because people speak about anxiety so much, but when I was again, the teenage years, 18, 19, I went for a terrible breakup. Like, that was my first proper boyfriend. And I think that's when I understood what anxiety was. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh my God, this is bad. And I went to the doctors and they give me like anxiety medication, but that made me feel so much worse. Really? Yeah, because I didn't realise when you take something like an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety med, it actually makes you feel worse before you feel better. Wow. Yeah, so a lot of people that take it, you think you're going to wake up and feel like amazing and skipping, but it takes a long time for you to... It takes a couple of weeks to even work and it's... Do you remember what they gave you? Sertraline. Sertraline.
So they gave me sertraline. Yeah, and because my mum was like, because I was so low, I couldn't believe how bad heartache felt. I was like, I'd rather break my arm because it's so painful. You're like, how am I going to go on? How will I ever love again? It was so painful because I was like, I loved him so much. But now looking back, I'm like, I definitely didn't.
And you went on these antidepressants to help you through them?
Yeah.
How long did you stay on them for?
I think I was on them for like a good year. A good year I was on them for, yeah. And I did feel better, to be fair. You just feel a bit lighter.
Yeah.
Because I know people in my family that have they've gone through a little bit of troubles. And I've said to them, like, if you can have things to help you, like, help yourself. And, it has completely changed and transformed their lives. And it really did help me. But then what I'd done was I was on them and then just stopped taking them and then make you feel really crap. Like, you have to wean yourself off them. Like, I just woke up one day and was like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm happy. And then I had like a month of just feeling really sick and disgusted. And yeah. But I do think I'm really glad I did it because it did really get me out of that. Just that not wanting to leave the house and feeling really rubbish, not wanting to go to work, that whole tunnel of like just sobbing, listening to Adele over and over,
But you had this struggling with your confidence, but then you decided to go and do Love Island.
Yeah, that I know.
Because that feels like a juxtaposition. That feels like something that like counters each other. Because you're putting yourself on screen, which is typically all about the way that you look. Because the first kind of scene is like, am I going to date that person? Am I going to date that person? And so normally someone with lacking confidence wouldn't go and do that.
No, I know. But Love Island was never really meant to happen. So before Love Island, my dad did Celebrity Juice and we knew a producer there called Lizzie.
Great, yeah.
And she basically said that there was a show going on in the January called Survival of the Fittest. And they was like, it's a new show, new format, boys against girls, like challenges, that sort of stuff. Now realising it was a bit of a love show, but it was more like boys against girls, who's the fittest, right? So they was like, do you want to do it? Blah, blah, blah. Come and have a little meeting. And I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty fun. Like, why not? So obviously went for the meetings, went to South Africa and then ended up doing the show. However, the show didn't go great because within 24 hours, I dislocated my shoulder.
This is like a common theme.
24 hours. I don't know why this has happened to me.
These injuries.
This is hell. So within 24 hours, and it was really annoying because that week, do you remember the book, The Secret?
Yeah.
I read the book, The Secret, and I was like looking at the mountains and finding myself. And
it's all about manifesting, all about you. If you speak it, it can happen.
Yeah, right. So, dislocated my shoulder for 24 hours. And then I remember being in the hotel room, but it's the same producers of Love Island. And Lewis come and sat with me, and I adore Lewis. And he was like, oh, it's fine. We've got Love Island in the summer. And I was like, I am not doing Love Island, Lewis. He was like, yeah. I'm in a sling by now. He's like, we're going to get you on Love Island. And I was like, not going to happen. And got to say April.
Yeah.
And he contacted me again, Lewis, and was like, come and meet me for a little bit of lunch and stuff. Like, so I met him and he was like, why don't you want to come on Love Island? And I was like, because my dating history is a disaster. And I was on and off with someone at this point as well, like very on and off for like a year, just toxic. And
this is this fire that we thought we liked.
This is the fire we wanted. And then he was like, but what have you got to lose? Like, just have a go. Spoke to my mum. My mum was like, oh yeah, go on Love Island. What else you going to do this summer? What else you going to do? Like, my mum was all for it. My nan went, oh, they've got them water bottles, haven't they? I'll get us the water. So my mum and nan were very like, go and do it. I just thought, why not? Why not? Because I sort of left my dental nursing job at this point and I was working in a pub and I was a bit just lost. I didn't really know what I was doing. I got to I was 21 and I just didn't know. Tricky age. And I just didn't really know where I fit or what I wanted to do really. So I thought, well, why not then? Like, let's have a go. And then there we go. We entered the Love Island villa.
Did you enjoy it?
Loved it. I loved it. It's
I still remember it was amazing. That series was incredible.
Oh, it was so great.
And people, they still are, but they fell in love with you immediately.
Oh, Jay, thank you.
They did though, because I think it's because, like speaking to you now, it's so authentic and so real. And people go on shows like that, there's an element of playing up to the cameras. And I don't think you can really play up to the cameras. I think you have to be yourself.
Yeah, and I think for us, like Love Island, was we series 5? I don't even know what series we were.
I can't remember.
It was quite early on.
Series 4.
Series 4. We was quite early on. So like Love Island, I think the year before, you know, when like Olivia and Amber, that series came, then it got kind of big, didn't it? And then our year after obviously got bigger, but obviously we didn't know because we was just in the villa. You know what I mean? And when you're in there, I know you have cameras, but you're so easy to forget about the cameras. Like, and we had a great group. We all really got on real quickly, you know. We had a laugh together.
But when you come out and you experience that fame, is it the fame that excites you, or you were just like, no, this is what I've seen this before?
I don't really think I knew what I was doing, because even just before I went into the villa, my dad obviously was fuming about it. He didn't want me to do Love
Was he
Island.
really?
Yeah, he was very
What is the
upset.
conversation you have with your dad about it?
Well, I only really told him a week before that when I was going on. And he literally, we sat there and we was having, I remember the dinner, it was me, my nan was there, my dad was there, and it had been kind of leaked to the press, and I am out of order because I just didn't want to tell him. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do Love Island then. And he put his fork and knife down and he went outside and had a fag. And then my nan went, oh, he took that well then, like that. And he did not speak to me until literally the day I was going to the villa. My dad put the suitcases in the car and he went, see you in a couple of weeks. Stormed back it. He was fuming with me.
Because?
He's like, it's a love show. You know what I mean? You can potentially be having sex on the TV. And he knew that my, again, dating history was a disaster. He was like, oh, you're going to have a terrible time in there. You're going to have an absolute terrible time.
It was a protective thing.
Yeah. He was worried about me. He was really worried about me. And I get it now. I do totally get it, because if one of my twins wanted to do it, I'd probably be a bit like, oh, are you sure? So I do get it. Whereas my mum was like, oh, she's all right. She's in Spain. She's going to have a great time. So,
would you let your kids do it? Honestly, they said, yeah, I want to go and do Love Island. You've done it.
I want them to do whatever they want to do, but I feel like now it's a little bit harder. I don't know how it's going to be like social media and all that by the time they're older. So it's if they can like handle it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's
I
tough.
don't know. Yeah.
But
we didn't have TikTok and all that. So when we kind of left, social media was a thing, but like social media really is a thing now. So I just don't know.
Do people have sex in the villa? They do?
Yeah, people have sex. But I used to go to sleep. I used to sleep so well in there. Like, really well. Like, I used to put my eye mask on and be gone. But yeah, people are having a great time, and good on them. Why not? I just knew if I would have had sex in there, then I would have literally had my bags at the door. So I thought, I need to go. I need a home. But yeah, I used to be like, go on, have a good time.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you dated Jack Fincham, right?
Yes, I did.
And I imagine he was probably like, everyone else is doing it.
Yeah. But you know what? He was understanding, I think. I think he totally got it. Like, that I was just like, I just don't want to. I didn't have a problem with anyone else doing it, but just for my personal reasons, I was just like, my nan's watching this.
And it's something you can't change.
I don't.
Once you've done, once that's happened, it's sex, I'm very liberal, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that, you know, once you do that, I suppose.
Yeah, and it was like, as soon as you'd start kissing in bed, you'd hear the camera go, "Rrr."
Really?
Yeah. Because sometimes you just want to have a little kiss, and then they'd call you up to like the room the next day, the beach out, and they'd be like, what happened last night, Dani? I was like, I was just having a snog. I wasn't doing anything wrong. And they was like, well, I was like, I wasn't doing anything. Like, answer me, what was you doing? Like, literally. Because of course, when you're in a relationship, of course you do when you fancy someone. Do you know what I mean?
But then you come out and there was like a spotlight on your relationship, and that's hard. What does that feel like?
It was because your relationship is so fast. It's like it's speed in there. Like, obviously, we was in that 8 weeks and you are like in love with one another. You are obsessed. And then when you come out, people are like, are you getting engaged? Are you moving in together? Are you having babies? So I think you feel like you need to like rush and do all of that instantly. And obviously, like, as soon as we come out, we're like looking for flats. So it was it's very, very quick. And in a normal relationship, you would not do that.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So it was and I remember you'd go on like, your morning slots and do interviews and things like that. You become a little bit of a PR, you know what I mean? Instantly, when really you need to just come out and get to know one another. But you don't do that.
That's really hard to deal with.
Yeah.
That's a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
So how do you even like manage all of that?
I don't think, that's why we probably didn't work, because it was just so quick. Like, honestly, when I was in that villa, and I always say about it, I genuinely thought, I've met the one. Like, I've actually met him. Woohoo. Like, Jack was so lovely in that villa. Like, we bonded instantly. Like, that first week of being in Love Island, I found it really hard, because I remember I was in there and you've got to talk about how you feel when you're in bed with someone. And he was really good at comforting me and be like, it's okay, Dan, like, it's chill. Like, take it as it comes. And you know what I mean? I found the adjustment, and I miss my family. So I found them first 2 weeks really difficult, but he was really good for me in there. Do you know what I mean? He never led us, like Jarrod's like, you played it safe. I'm like, I didn't play it safe, actually. I really liked him.
Yeah.
So I did. I genuinely really did. So yeah, then just when we come out, it was just...
But then there's pressure,
spotlights
and there's pressure, right?
Pressure.
Because I suppose when you do a show like Love Island and then you come out and then you're seen as this couple, there's a pressure to kind of
be a good couple.
Mm-hmm. And being young and being in the industry, you're thinking, well, if we aren't this couple, then what are we?
Yeah.
And that means everything's going to go.
Yeah.
So we might, and a lot of people just stay together because they think that's what people want.
Yes.
That's
and
tough.
I think as well, for us, people really loved us, and Jack was very insecure as well. And I know it's a weird thing to say, but I used to think, what do they love us for? What have we done? And then you start thinking like you need to change yourself a little bit, because you're like, people love you, and then you're scared that you're going to do something wrong. And like, I can't explain what I mean, but you become a little bit like...
You become a character of yourself.
Yeah, and you panic, don't you? Like, just in case you meet someone and then they're not what you thought they thought you were, or, you know, it becomes a little bit like that for a little while, because all of a sudden you go from being no one and then you're out and people know you, and it's scary. It's quite daunting.
What is it? Sounds really odd, but you basically... because I've experienced it, you basically become like a heightened up version of yourself.
Yes.
So in my case, everyone used to say, "Oh, you're really energetic and funny."
Yeah.
So everywhere I went, I had to do that.
Yes.
And if I wasn't doing that, I was worried people were going to think
Be let down,
be let down. And then I didn't really know how to act any time, because I was like, I always have to be this upbeat. And if I was silent or quiet or whatever, then that's not who he is.
Yes.
And so I imagine that's exactly what happened with you.
Yeah.
Where you had to be that, Danny, this really nice, kind, lovely person. Wherever you went, you had to just be the same person the whole time.
Yeah, and I was just so worried, like what you said, just about letting people down. And I think in our relationship, I think when we come off Love Island, I think you realise you're just very different. You're very, very different.
What do you mean?
I think we both just wanted completely different things. Like in our what I wanted. I always thought in my head, like, I was only 21, so I was so young. Do you know what I mean? But like I like, you know, my boyfriend coming home and cooking dinners and watching films together. And when I'm in a relationship, I'm in a relationship. You know, I really like that like tight unit thing. And I think Jack was just on a completely different page to what I wanted.
He's suddenly famous, and he's young, and he's good looking,
wants to go out, and I don't blame him for that. Do you know what I mean? So he just wasn't compatible on the outside world, which was a shame, because when we was in the villa, you are so compatible. But I think you can be compatible with anyone in a villa, because there's no outside noise, is there? It's just, and when people say that they're in that villa, they're faking it. You cannot fake it in there, because you are together 24 hours a day. Like, so, you know, like if you don't fancy someone, you're around them, they become quite irritating, don't they? So all of us, like, as far as we got, we all just loved each other so much. It's intense. But I don't know if that's real. I don't know.
Can I ask you a big question?
Yeah.
You know, with all reality shows, and I've experienced it, what happens is there feels like, you know, especially with Love Island, there's a lot of mental health that comes out of it. And, you know, the awful statistics some people have been on the show, right? Why do you think that happens?
I think it's because when you can come off a show like Love Island, you are so big, and then all of a sudden people can just forget about you. I think you are, and I think it can be really hard for people. Do you know what I mean? Like mentally, and like everyone knows you, and people don't really sympathise as well. You know, like the industry we're in, a lot of people hate us. Do you know what I mean? You do get a lot of crap, talentless, this and that. You know, people just like to be mean. So I don't know if you are having a real low moment and you've got people attacking you and the press are on you and you're having a bit of a wobble in life and it's so advertised, then you just feel like there's no way out. Do you know what I mean? Because we all make mistakes in life. We all do things. But when it's advertised and you've got everyone having an opinion on you, I think that's when you can just completely do the wrong turn. You know what I mean? Like Caroline breaks my heart. Because obviously Caroline was our host and I loved Caroline. She always had the sweetest soul. Like she was amazing. And I remember she was going through a little bit of I think she split up with her partner at the time, and I remember she was in the villa and she was really, really sad about it. But the way she could turn on being a host, I've never known. Like, she was fantastic.
Wow, so you could see her being sad. And
She
then
would be
could turn it
sad
on.
and she'd have her makeup artist like sorting her face out and doing all of her hair, and she'd be really sad, and then the lights would come on and she would perform, and I was like, wow. But Caroline was like, again, wore her heart on her sleeve, and she loved Love Island. Like, Caroline loved that show so much. So yeah, that was just the worst thing ever, what happened to Caroline.
When did you suddenly realise that your dad was famous?
I would say probably when I started my new school, when I moved to Essex, because everyone in London, no one really batted an eyelid.
Really?
Like, no one really batted an eyelid. And then when I started that new school, then it started being like the whole Dani Dyer's your dad thing. And I was like, oh, is he? Like, because he doesn't act like that. You'd come home and that was it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I knew he was starting to get a little bit more bigger, because the house we lived in, he'd come home with the biggest sofas and the biggest tellies. We're living in this tiny little house. That's my dad. He always needs the biggest of everything. You know what I mean? The biggest lamps. And my mum in the end.
And where are you living? You're living in a small apartment?
Yeah, we had a small little 2-bedroom house in Custom House. And so that's where we lived. We lived, like, my nan was at the other side of the road. There was a school in the middle. My nan was there. And then we was on the other. We loved that house so much. My mum's like, I wish I kept that house. We loved it. And then obviously he was doing more stuff and all that. And then that's when we moved to Essex. So I think that's when I started understanding it more, because it was mentioned to me more, but I didn't understand why it was being mentioned so much.
Is that exciting or not exciting?
No.
Are you embarrassed or what?
Yeah, because I was a bit like, why does it matter? You know what I mean? He's just my dad. Like,
wow.
He's just my dad, isn't he? You know, like, people have their dads and their mums. I looked at my dad as just my dad, not as an actor, you know?
Yeah, because that's interesting, because fame was so attractive, because I used to watch people on television and think, oh my God, they have the funnest time where it's exciting or this and that.
Yeah.
But you saw it within your dad and you were just like, why does everyone even care about that? That's just my dad. Would stop.
Completely just didn't. Yeah, it was just like, can we stop talking about that? Like, I get it. Like, because he's just not like that. He's the most simple man, loves an antique shop. You know, he's so simple. So for me, when people were on and on and on about it, it was just like, oh, can we just shut up about it? And sometimes the girls would be like, oh, your dad's well fit. And I didn't know how to respond to that. I'm not going to go, yeah, or no, he isn't. Like, what do I say? Whatever I say is going to be wrong here, you know?
I heard you wrote a letter to your dad once, didn't you? Or you said to your dad, I think your dad went through a tricky time.
Yes.
And I think he's spoken about it, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like, you know, I listened to him on a podcast where he basically said, you know, he went through a tricky time and, you know, alcohol and drugs and all these things happened.
Yeah.
And you wrote a letter to him when he was in rehab.
Yeah, because he went rehab twice. And the first time he went, I think he was trading cream eggs with diazepam. So there was a woman in there, obviously, that was in there for overeating, because it was for every single thing, overeating, and obviously his was for drug addiction. And he was trading things with her. So he'd give her a cream egg, she'd give him something. So it was never going to work. I think he come home for a week and was like, fine, and then back to normal. And I mean, he's very open about it. But then I think...
Was he open about it with you as a family as well?
Not at that time. With me, like, my mum and dad kept it. I sort of knew my dad was going away, but I don't know if they just didn't really want to.
It's quite hard to articulate, right?
How do they explain to me what's going on?
And you're how old at this time?
I don't know how old I was. I was still in school.
Wow.
So I was still in secondary school. Hadn't left then. But then the second time he went in, I knew it was serious. Like, because that's like, he was, like we always say, if he didn't go rehab second time, he probably wouldn't be here now, because he was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And obviously he always says, like, EastEnders did save him in a sense, because I think he was in such a dark place with himself and he couldn't get out of that. And then you rely on drink and drugs. And then obviously, you know, he was going to EastEnders, and, you know, for him, he knew he had to, like, sort himself out. Like, I think he said he woke up one morning and he was just like, this is it now. Like, I've got to do something for myself. And it's the best thing you'd ever done.
I have very close people to me who have struggled with addiction.
Yeah.
And without a doubt, it's a disease.
Oh, it is. It's the worst thing
it's
ever.
It's the most upsetting thing in the world. It takes over your brain.
Absolutely.
And to watch people go through it and not understand it,
Mm.
it's really hard. And you
Yeah.
just want them to get better and you want them to help themselves.
Yeah.
And you don't know what to say to them.
No.
Or you don't know what to do and you almost want to shake them. Come on, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah,
Life is this. What's
yeah.
going on here?
And I think it was hard for my mum as well, because obviously my mum has always been the like force in the house. She's the most strongest woman I know, my mum. I think my mum, she's trying to look after us, but obviously now looking at her, she was going through the hardest time of her life. You know what I mean? Like her husband, you know, is in a really bad way, but she's trying to keep everything really strong and tighten it in the house. So yeah, my dad, bless him, he went for it was
But what
a really
was it?
hard
I
time.
don't want to. I just want to say because and also what we
It
talk
wasn't
about.
so much drink though. It was just more.
No, it's just the chaos.
Yeah, the chaos of it all. And he was around the wrong people, my dad. So the first time he come out and then he meets up with all the mates that he shouldn't be mates with. You know what I mean? And then the second time he had to cut, I'd say 70% of people out of his life.
What does it make you feel? Because normally what happens is, Dani, is that we always talk about the addict or the person who's going through it. And a lot of the time we don't talk about the stories of the people who were the ones at home or the family or the friends. And especially as a daughter, you know, and what does that do to you, do you think?
It was so hard. It was really hard. Because obviously I love my dad. I've always been like a bit of a daddy's girl. You know what I mean? So when he'd ring me, it'd be really hard because you'd want to cry, but then you also want to be really strong. Like when they're ringing you and they give, because I think he could ring us like once a week, and then you'd have a little bit of a chat with him, and then you could just see like the progression of him, which was amazing because your family, like your world, you know what I mean? And we was worried about him. And then when he sort of come out, you don't want to do anything to upset him, and I wanted to just bubble wrap him because I didn't want him to leave the outside world and then go down that terrible route again. And I think my mum was like, the second time was a time that he really had to like up his game. Because obviously, and he did like the AA meetings and all that sort of stuff. But I think for him, like the first time he had a go, but the second time I think he knew that there was no way back. He had to stick to it. And obviously...
You really think he wouldn't be here?
Yeah, I think you do your 20%, say, in rehab, but it's 80% at home. Because as soon as you're in a bubble, and then as soon as you come out, you've got numbers you can ring or people you can meet. So for him... his massive thing was being at home, I think. And he stayed at home. I mean, he's a hermit anyway, loves being at home. But yeah, that's when he really, but he says now he's in such a good place with himself. So he'd be an idiot to ever want to go down that route again. You know what I mean?
What was the letter you wrote him?
So the thing is, we spoke about this letter recently, me and my dad. And I say I must have been numb because I don't remember anything I wrote in that letter. Because he spoke to me about the letter and he was like, do you not remember? I was like, I don't remember a thing that I put. And he really remembers it.
Wow.
I just don't know, because I remember my mum was telling me to write letters because you had to do that. But I don't remember anything. And I don't know if that's really bad that I don't remember a thing.
If someone very close to me, I had to write them a letter.
Yeah.
When they were in rehab.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember what I wrote.
Yeah,
really.
I just can't remember.
It's really hard.
Because you know when you're like, maybe you're in pain and everything you write floods out and then it's like you close it and then never want to reopen it again. I don't know if it's that, like my brain's just blocked that out. But I don't, because we recently spoke about the letter and I was like, oh my God, yeah, the letter.
Do you think you shut it out?
Maybe, because I mean, it was a long time ago now, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I knew that letter meant a lot to him because he likes letters. He likes his cards on Father's Day, and he.
But
likes
do you know what's
things like
amazing
that.
about you is that I can sort of see it in your whole demeanor. How old were you when you were going through it? You must have been pretty young, right? So
maybe 15, 16.
15, 16.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're living your own life.
Mm.
You're out. You're having boyfriends. You're wanting
Yeah.
to drink in the park, having fun. You want to focus on boys, all these different
Yeah.
things. But yet you have the mentality to realize that you want to cry, which most kids would do,
Yeah.
but you also have to stay strong.
Yeah.
And you have the sort of maturity to understand that. That's really
Yeah.
unique. Like
Oh.
no one.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be doing that. I would be crying, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm so upset.
Yeah,
Like, look
yeah.
at, but you knew you had to be strong for your dad.
Yeah, I wanted to be. But I think my mum is very strong, so I don't know if I get that trait from her.
But you took on a parenting role.
Yeah. And I want it as well because my mum, she's amazing, my mum.
Is she?
She's nutty. She's like literally nuts, but we love her. There's only one Joe, we say. But yeah,
Really?
yeah, there's only one Joe. But yeah, she's great. She always holds the fort, we say, my mum. Like she holds the house together.
What's the best thing about your mum?
She's charming and she's very fun. You know what, my mum, if something has gone wrong, she will always make you laugh about it. Like, so she's always got the little twist. Like, if I ring her up and I'm like, this is wrong or blah, 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 she's always like, come on. Like, and she'll make me laugh. Whereas my dad, I'd ring and he'd go, come give me a cuddle. We'll have a cuddle about it, you know? So yeah, she's very witty.
What's your relationship like with alcohol?
I'm not really a big drinker, really. But like when I go out with the girls,
Okay.
oh yeah, we're having a good time.
What are we drinking?
I like a little gin and tonic. I'm scarred.
Sorry, calling me.
I like a bit. And it has to be in the right glass. I'm sorry. You know when you get a horrible
Okay, give it to you.
glass?
Describe it to you. What is it?
Like, I like the ones that are like, what
Oh, you
are
like the
they?
big round
yeah,
one?
I like a big round one. Loads of ice, some limes, some cucumbers, and I don't like pink gin. I
Okay.
want a little bit. What is it?
Hendrix.
Hendrix.
You like that one?
I like a bit of Hendrix. Yeah, bit of tonic, slimline. We're feeling good that night, and I do like a little tequila sometimes.
Oh yeah.
You can't go wrong.
A shot?
Shot of tequila.
Yeah. That's
We're
what
having
all
a
go.
good time.
As soon as I start ordering espresso martinis.
Oh yeah, but then I'll be up all night.
I know. Why? It's mad.
Oh, well,
like
why
drinking
would you
a
do that?
coffee before I go to bed.
I
It's
would
like
never ever do that, ever.
that you talking about your confidence and how you lacked confidence,
Mm.
and then being worried about being called a nepo baby, which I totally understand, which I often think is really unfair and hard because you're born into a family where someone has a certain name, and then you're expected to just be like, well, I mean, sorry,
Yeah,
what am I supposed to do here?
Yeah.
And doubling down on that, you had the same name as your dad.
No, it's very. He always says that if he would have known I would have followed in his footsteps, he wouldn't have called me Dani. Because my name was Charlotte for a while, and then it was Rosie. But then for some reason, it's spun back to Dani. So yeah, it is, and it's funny as well because when people now on TV they'll say Dani Dyer, they have to go, oh no, the little everyone gets himself in a bit of a like.
Because I went Dani Dyer Senior. I didn't know what to say. Dani Dyer Senior.
I see everyone go a bit red and they don't know what to do, and like little Dani Dyer, we can say Big Dan and Little Dan. That's what we do now.
So you break up with Jack.
Yes.
And then you have your son.
Yes.
Santiago.
Little Santi. Oh, he's lovely. He's so naughty though. He's really got me right around his
How old is
finger.
he?
He's 5 in January.
Really?
And he loves to cuddle me, but he also loves to wind me up. Oh yeah. Very cheeky.
And this was with your partner who was before Love Island.
The one that was just hell. So realistically, it's really, and I always speak openly, before Love Island, he never really wanted to settle down with me.
Did he
was
not?
a massive player, just massive. And then when I come off Love Island, and obviously me and Jack split up, we sort of reunited again. And realistically, that should have not been, like, I shouldn't have gone back there. You know what I mean?
Why did you go back? Because people talking again, the advice is I want to give the advice. So Lucy or another Dani or Tom are sitting there thinking, okay, I'm in the same situation. There's someone who I let go, but now they're knocking on the door. Should I go back to them? Shouldn't I go back to them? I'm confused. What do I do?
I mean, I think it depends what situation you're in, because some people go back to their exes and it is the most successful relationship.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and it really works for them. But I think, my friend said, I think I went back there because he was someone that I knew and someone that...
You wanted familiarity.
Yeah, that familiarity of like... And I mean, I was, again, at 21 and I was a bit like, oh, that didn't work out with Jack. So I kind of know him. Like, it's not... We'll probably just have a bit of fun, or do you know what I mean? It's not going to be anything. And obviously, I don't regret anything. I always say now, like, I never regret anything, because I think every decision you make, good or bad, leads you to the path you're meant to go on. And having Santi changed me as a person massively. So I'm so glad I had my Sant. So I think I had to go through a kind of tricky relationship to get my little boy to change me, to move forward.
Wow.
That's how I look at that relationship now, because it changed me. It really did.
How did it change you?
Because I think I was always looking for the fire. I never really looked at my future. I was always very present, and like I would do things that my friends was always like, you never really think about, like my best friend Kaylee, she'd be like, I think I drove her mad because she was always so sensible.
Yeah.
And then I was the naughty little mate. Do you know what I mean? She's the sensible one, always in relationships, and I'd ring her up and go, okay, look what I've done now. And do you know what I mean? She needed a bit of that though. So I think when I went back to that relationship, I think I was just still going through that kind of, and I mean, I was
Who am I? What am I?
What am I doing? And I didn't really think. But yeah, I think it changed me because I kind of really, once I had Santi, I was like, right, I'm an adult now and I've got to look after a child. So all these stupid little things that I'm doing and being like just not care. I can't explain what I mean, but I just think I never really thought about anything. So when I had my little boy, I was like, every decision I make is for my little boy now. And I want to give him the best future ever.
Wow.
I can't be giving him a toxic environment.
Were you, did you plan Santi?
No, I don't, because just before Santi, I got pregnant, and then that didn't work out, and then I got pregnant literally, I think, so before I got pregnant with Santi, I got pregnant, and then that didn't work out, but then I wanted a baby then, because that didn't work out.
Wow.
Because I was like, well, I want a baby, so this month I'm going to be not careful. Do you know what I mean? Because it didn't work out. Because I think that happens with people. They either really want to have a baby or then they don't want to have a baby for a little while. And I think for me, I was like, no, I'm having a baby. And my mum and dad were fuming at the time. So I think we kind of...
What did they say? You fall pregnant?
Yeah.
I reckon you tell your mum first?
You always tell your mum. You always tell your mum. I think I always, as soon as I get the line on my pregnancy test, they're like, you ring your mum or your best friend. Do you know what I mean? Like straight away. Like the wee's still in the toilet. You're like, Mum.
It's Sophie. Sophie honestly showed it to me and I was like, oh my God. And then on the phone and I was like,
yeah.
Whoa, is this like, I
You
thought we
don't
were meant
have
to
a second.
like.
That was the best feeling ever.
It's an amazing feeling. But so you then phone your mum, nervous to tell your mum?
Yeah, I was nervous to tell my mum. And to be honest, they was happy for me with the baby. Like they were so happy that they knew kind of what I went through. Do you know what I mean? So they was like, when obviously I got pregnant with Santi, they was like happy for me for that. But they knew that relationship that I was in was never going to work. So I think for them, they was like knowing that, right, she's going to have this baby, but she's probably not going to be with this person. And they obviously didn't want that for me. And I get it now because now I'm a parent. I totally get it. And I've said sorry to them so many times. I'm like, I'm so sorry what I put you through. And
really?
Yeah, when you're a teenager and you're really mean to them. And I look back and I'm like, God, I've got so much karma coming. But yeah, I just feel like I get what they were saying now. Because I was like, you're probably not going to be with him. Why are you having a baby? It's so stupid.
Do you know what a baby does? It locks you in.
Yeah, like what are you doing? And I was like, I'm fine. I can do what I want and all that sort of stuff. So I think we had a little bit of that. But then obviously as we progressed, they were so happy because that was their little grandson or granddaughter. You know what I mean? So they ended up putting their emotions at bay and then just sort of getting me through my pregnancy.
The pregnancy before, was it a miscarriage?
Yeah, it was a miscarriage. But it was a very early miscarriage. But I think it just, when I got pregnant again, I mean, I don't know how many scans I had. I was up there all the time.
It's really
I was literally
scary.
knocking at the door, like, can you check again? Can you check again? And they're like, Daddy, come on. I had a portfolio of Santi. Honestly, he wasn't even born and he's got a whole... Literally, I just thought I need to see him one more time.
No one talks about that. No one talks about the anxiety that you feel because all you want to have is a healthy, happy baby. Everything else is a bonus.
Absolutely.
And it's so scary.
Pregnancy is so scary. So scary because it is like you're growing a baby like it's a miracle in a sense, isn't it? Like looking after them and making sure you're doing the right things and don't eat this, don't eat that. It was scary for me.
What's your relationship like with Santi's dad now?
I would say we're very civil and I will always be really civil to him because obviously that's Santi's dad. Do you know what I mean? Like there's got to be times, with Santi in school plays and his birthdays and I would never want Santi to feel uncomfortable. Like Santi's never going to know his mum and dad being together, which I actually prefer that more because he's never going to know what he's missing in that sense because you always feel guilty. Always. I always feel so because like when Jarrod walks through the door and the twins are like, Daddy, Daddy, I fear that Santi does he feel, I know he doesn't because he's 4, but like does he feel that that's not his daddy? I always have them feelings, but it's good because one of my twins, Santi calls Jarrod JJ and Summer keeps calling Jarrod JJ. She keeps calling him JJ and I'm like, that's Daddy. So yeah, I always feel guilty for Santi and I probably do overcompensate with Santi a little bit. Like I mollycoddle him a lot because I'm like, it's me and Santi against the world. Because I think there was a time where it was me and him against the world and we was on our own together. Wow. So I just you know, if Santi goes, I'm going too. Do you know?
But Dani, you know, it's also it's a little bit like your own relationship with your mum.
Yeah.
In a little bit, and you know, especially if your dad maybe was coming on the Friday, but it was like you and your mum young.
Yeah.
It's like we're against the world here,
Yeah,
and that's an
yeah.
amazing thing. But your ex-partner went to prison, right?
He did. And that was a really hard time. I think for me as well, like we sort of got together and it was like
It's a lot.
it was a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Man, Dani,
and
it's a lot.
and do you know what it is as well? I think for me, I never really thought about what he was doing, or I don't know. Was I a little bit naive? I don't know. I just wasn't really ever paying attention when I should have. And
no, you shouldn't. By the way, take no accountability.
Yeah, but it was a hard time because I think for me,
you're young and you're.
You don't think. Do you know what I mean?
You also look. You're pregnant, looking up a kid.
And I think for me as well, then obviously going through the pregnancy, and then it was all leaked to the press, and then people really were hating on me. Like they were the stuff I was getting, and I never really. And then when he went to prison, obviously everyone sort of blamed me, and I was a bit like, I felt like I'd done the crime. Like I genuinely felt like I had done it and committed it, because people, you know, the press were accusing me, and there was a lot going on. And I remember sitting there and I was like, I don't know how to comment on this. I don't know what to say, because anything I say is going to be manipulated or twisted. And I just loved the wrong person. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't want to ever say anything that was Santi was going to see when he was older, or I didn't want to go on YouTube and start crying. It's just not I just didn't know what to do. So I just stayed silent. And I stayed silent about it for years. I didn't speak about it for a very long time. Like I think only the past year now that I can actually speak
almost
about
like a PTSD thing.
Yeah, because I just didn't want to speak about it. It was
so worried what people are going to say. You don't want to bring up all those comments again and everything.
And I totally get it. Like I totally get it. And I now and again now get the odd comment. But I mean...
But you know what? It's not your decision.
Yeah, it wasn't my...
But you do know that.
Yeah, no, I know. But,
okay,
yeah,
good.
But I think it's when you get with someone, people just automatically think that you're like condoning that you're accepting it, and you know you're with it. And I think for me it was like I just really loved the wrong person, and just didn't really think about what he was doing. Do you know what I mean? Because I loved him, and I was like, you know, when the person is so wrong for you, but you're like, no, but I want to be with him. I want to prove everyone wrong.
Man, you see the best.
Prove my friends wrong. Prove my family wrong.
100%. And when you're in love, you're blinded by everything.
And I totally agree that love is blind in that sense.
100%.
So I think him going to prison was like the worst time of my life, but the best time of my life. And the fact that I was like, this is my time now. Like I had my little boy, and I was like, this.
Because he went away for scamming people, right?
Yes.
And did you ever visit him in prison?
No.
You didn't?
No, I never ever wanted to. I think for me, because we was never right for one another. And as soon as I had Santi, I knew what love was. I had my little boy, and I was like, I love this little boy so much. And it's really weird. It was like a switch for me.
Really?
Yeah. It was like a switch. And I was like, he's my baby. And so I never went and visited him at all.
The strength of a mother. You become a lioness.
Yeah, you are.
Oh
like we're looking after your little cubs,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and that's how I was.
Do you know what's been really brave about you as well, Dani, is that you've spoken about the loneliness, the anxiety, the emotions that you feel during pregnancy and after pregnancy.
Yeah.
And you did a documentary about it.
Yes, I did.
What emotions did you feel?
I think it's not really spoken. I mean, I think it's got a lot better now. I think women are speaking about anxiety and loneliness. You know, I think women are now, because I don't think women support women. I think a lot of women like to attack women. If a woman is moaning, or they're a little bit down, or they're a little bit lost, you know, and they speak about it, they always get someone comment, stop moaning, stop complaining, you're lucky to have a baby. You do still get quite a lot of that. And I feel like women should understand women. We all have to have a period every month. We have moments when we feel a bit bloated. And the first time you're bloated, you notice a woman going, you look fat. There's still that whole concept of like women just don't like to support other women. And I think for me, when I did this documentary, I just really wanted like women to just sort of come together and sort of see their stories and be like, you know, not every pregnancy, you know, is successful. And you have this baby. And when you have a baby, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I have a baby. What do I do? Like you get sent home with this baby and you've got to look after the baby. And I'm like my mum come and lived with me for a little while, and she left, and I was like, you've got to come back, mum. You've got to come back.
You're a single parent.
Yes. And my mum used to like come over and fill up my fridge and all that sort of
Because
stuff.
the doc you did is called Dani Dyer, Is This Anxiety? Because
Yes.
there's a difference between anxiety and loneliness.
Yes.
Anxiety for me, and I don't know if it's the same thing, it's like this heightened like adrenaline feeling where it's just so uncomfortable.
You feel a bit
and
sick.
feel a bit sick. But loneliness is one that no one really talks about because
No.
you're so isolated as a
so
parent.
isolated because you're sort of like living on it's really hard to like get out of the door, and like you're sort of living on a clock, you know, feed times, changing times, and you know, you do have that, and you haven't got that thing of like just being able to get up and go, and your freedom goes, you know, like if you think, oh, I'm just going to get up and walk up to the shop, and like that postpartum thing of like you don't feel great in yourself because obviously like women all get it all differently. Like some of my friends didn't get it, I did, like the baby blues. Like you have them weeks where you just cry over nothing. Like literally your toast will burn and you're sobbing over the toast. Like, but my mum was
Feeling
really
low?
good, feeling low.
How really low?
You can get, because like, but my mum, I remember the first 4 days, it's like when your milk comes in and then like your boobs, sorry, Jane. Like,
Can't wait. I'm
getting,
getting.
you're
Listen,
gonna love the boobs.
I can't wait. The boobs at the moment.
The boobs are great.
The boobs and the butt. It's like
You're like,
unbelievable. I don't get to go near it, but
No.
like, there's no.
that will come.
Does it?
That will come. You've got
I'm a
time.
born again virgin, but that's fine. I'm all right with it.
Celibate.
Yeah, I'm celibate now. Yeah, I'm celibate, so it's fine.
But yeah, so when your milk but my mum was good because she warned me. She's like, when your milk comes in, you just get really, really teary and like you cry over absolutely everything and anything. So I think you just want to sit indoors a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like you just don't feel like, right, I can get up and do things. So I think it's always really good to find a little community of mums.
Did you find it hard to talk about? Or were you quite open? Did you say to other mums, to friends, look, I'm feeling really down here. I'm feeling lonely. I'm feeling anxious.
I think I did because I had friends that I had my best friend Kaylee who had a baby, who was 1 year older. So she was always at my house and I was always at her. She was like, come on, come to mine. So I was really lucky that I had her. And my mum was great. My mum like come and lived with me. And if I'd have a cry, she'd let me have a cry. But sometimes I'd be so embarrassed I'd go in the toilet and cry. Like when I had the twins, I had terrible baby blues. No. But some people do and some people don't. But I'm such an emotional person.
It's great to be emotional.
I would sit in the toilet and cry. I'd be because I didn't want anyone to see me. I just need to sob and then I'd feel so much better. So that's why, like, when my friends now have babies, I really like to just give them a care package of, like, this is how you may feel, or if you've had a C-section, or like...
You do that?
Yeah, I like to write a list of how they're potentially going to feel because I want them to know it's normal.
Dani, that's
because
amazing.
It's normal. I want them to know that it's okay. Because when you have a C-section, you get really windy. And no one told me this, right? Like, they fill your body up, obviously, with, like, gas. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, they, like, tell you to, like, fart and stuff. And I was like, I am not doing that. I've never done that in front of my boyfriend. I'm not doing it now. And then Jarrod had to leave the room. The woman said, Dani, you really need to, like, release some gas. And I was like, I am not doing that. I was like, he's going home later and then I'll do it. And then you're, like, on all fours, like, trying to get this gas out. You sound like, honestly, a brass band. It's insane. So I remember telling my friend that you're going, and she was like, Dan, I really needed that advice. Because you don't think it's normal.
You're on all fours, just letting it all out.
Because you get
it's so unglamorous, the whole thing, isn't it?
Honestly. So I like them to know that this is how you could potentially feel. You might not feel like this, but if you do, it's like normal. I think it's so important to support your friends.
Dan, I love this. What advice would you give to someone who's about to be a parent?
I would say to enjoy the newborn bubble as much as possible. Like, don't feel like you need to get out. And also just sit in your pajamas, especially with your first baby.
Yeah.
Like, sit in your pajamas, watch Netflix. Like,
don't try and do anything.
Don't try and do anything because housework, you've always got to have housework. Do you know what I mean? Go to Cook and get them frozen meals as well. They're great. They do some little deals as well, little vouchers. I love a voucher. But and also, like, reach out to people if you need help. But if you don't want visitors, don't have visitors. Do you know what I mean?
Don't feel the pressure.
Don't feel the pressure. Just have the people, your nearest and dearest, around you. Do you know what I mean? And just don't feel pressure to get up and get back on your feet again. You know what I mean? And avoid all the noise. Like, do this, do that. Do what you want to do.
And if someone is struggling and when someone is struggling with the blues or anxiety or loneliness that you felt, it's quite hard to realise there's an end to it because you don't really know if there's going to be an end.
No, of course you don't.
So what would you say to that person?
To speak to someone, I think. Because sometimes people don't always have family and friends. So I feel like even like if you go and like speak to like, say, your doctor, because they can always advise you because you have to be careful that the baby blues doesn't turn into like postnatal depression. Do you know what I mean? Because it can go down that route and you sometimes don't know if it is postnatal depression. So I do sometimes think if you can't speak to a family member or some friends, then speak to a doctor.
What is the difference, just to educate me? What is the difference between baby blues and postnatal depression?
So I think postnatal depression, I would say, I mean, I'm not an expert.
But
do you know
it's
what I mean?
more
But I think
depression.
Because baby blues can last a few weeks. Like it does, it's not like a day thing. It can last a few weeks to a month, 6 weeks. But I think with postnatal depression, it just carries on, and then you just feel really, really low, and like you can't get out of that.
And having to look after your kid.
And having to look after a baby when you don't want to look after yourself, then you feel really like we have mum guilt. Honestly, mum guilt was the worst thing ever.
Explain that to me.
You just feel guilty over everything. Like, it's like you go on a night out and you feel bad for leaving your child, but then you're at home and you want a night out and you feel bad that you want a night out because you should want to just be with your child. You go to work, you feel bad. You're at home, but I want to work. It's like constant.
Then what happens with your partner is that you're annoyed at your partner for not feeling guilty because you're like, I'm feeling guilty.
Yes.
Why are you not feeling guilty about this as well?
Especially because like when we had the twins, me and Jarrod, he was like, I had to go back to football, like pretty much straight away. He was in like Australia, then he was in Prague, and it was really annoying because obviously I couldn't go. I wanted to go and like support him and I couldn't go, and I was annoyed at myself. I was like, my twins are like 2 weeks old, I can't physically go. So yeah, you do have that a little bit of their life carries on, and then you're like at home and you feel a bit like you're a bit wobbly, your boobs are leaking, you know, it's all a little bit unattractive for a while.
You're farting all over.
You're farting everywhere. Constipated probably, but yeah. It's great, that postpartum.
Twins compared to having one.
Da, 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 da. Wow.
Is it wild?
Because a lot of people say to me like, I found my second really easy. I'm like, I did not find twins easy at all.
Because I just need, like, feeding, like, I mean, how on earth?
Yeah, it was hell.
How?
It was harder. Like, I knew it was going to be hard, but I thought, God, this is even harder than I even thought it was going to be. It was brutal.
Best advice for the partner. Best advice for me to do during it. To be, what do I need to do?
Just be patient, I would say.
Yeah.
Patient, coffees, you know, and obviously just ride the emotions. Because I think it's hard as well, because like it's hard, you know, let's say if you get a headache, you can understand what a headache feels like, but obviously you don't understand what postpartum feels like. So it can be hard for you to understand them emotions. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's just be chill, let her feel how she wants to feel, but also do the night feeds and all, James.
I'm going to. Jessie J said to me, she said, be warned, you might lose your mate for a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, she's your best mate. And just for a bit, she'll come back, but maybe for a bit, it'll be just, she'll have a tough time at certain points. Just remember that. It was such good advice.
Yes, so true.
Because you look at, I look at Sophie and I look at women, and firstly, I salute all women now, having like seen what everything goes. And I
think you do when you become a dad as well.
But patience is everything.
Honestly.
Just be...
You just have to ride the wave.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? If she wants to cry, let her cry, angry. It's just like not really retaliating. You know what I mean? Because you can be hot-headed one minute and then loving the next. It's sort of accepting that a little bit. Stock up the fridge, do some night feeds, run her a nice bath.
Do all of that.
Rub her back.
I know, this is the big thing.
Them sort of things. Hot water bottles.
Everything.
Just pure love. And it's really weird. You fall in love with your partner so much more.
Yeah.
Like when they do all them things. Like the nicest little cutie things. Like just... little trinky things like just getting her a nice coffee, and you know what I mean?
You guys just got married.
We did. That was lovely. Isn't it the best getting married? Isn't it the best day of your life?
It's the best thing. Everyone roots for you.
Oh,
You get to have the most amazing time in front of your friends and family.
amazing.
It's like the most amazing thing in the world.
it's like heaven, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
felt like I died and went to heaven for a day. It was beautiful. I loved it.
How did he propose to you?
We was in Ibiza and we was on a boat and it was lovely. Literally.
Were you expecting it?
The morning that, because when we went out there, my friends would be like, oh, do you think he's going to propose to you? And I was like, I don't know, because it had just been the Euros. So I thought, what time has he had to like go out and get a ring? And Jarrod's not good with surprises. I know my Christmas present before I opened it. Like he tells me everything. So I was a bit like unsure. But then the morning he wore like a nice blue shirt. And I like him in a blue shirt. I do. So then I was a bit like...
You were like, that's a sign of something.
That's hot.
That's hot. We
You
like
know,
this.
We like this. And then obviously... But then when we got on the boat, I thought, I just don't know if Jarrod would know how to get a ring. And I just didn't know. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, when it happened, it was the best thing ever. It was like, yeah, it was just so romantic, bless him. He went down on one knee though, and I was like, did you say, will you marry me? I don't even know if you said that. He went, yeah, I think I did. I was like, I don't know if you did. I don't know if you just went like, I think it was.
It's like a blur, isn't it?
It was such a blur. It was just, yeah, it was so special though, bless him. He's a sweetheart.
And having kids there as well, and just at the wedding and stuff.
Oh, I know. It was, do you know what? We only really had close family kids, and I'm really glad we did that because we just wanted all my friends and stuff to like have a good time.
Have a good time and party.
But yeah, it was, to be fair, the kids did walk down the aisle because I was a bit like Santi's got a mind of his own. Like, if he don't want to do something, he ain't going to do it. Like, doesn't matter how many dairy milks I give him, he ain't going to do it. But he did walk down the aisle, and so did the twins. So, but I had...
Did you cry?
Oh, I was giggling, really giggling all day. But I put we had all candles out, which was a bit dangerous for the kids because they're all dreading. I'm like, the candles, like the flowers are going to set it all alight. But it was so special. And I buried a sausage the night before of our wedding. It was like 25 degrees. It was boiling.
I told you, it's the weather. I live by that.
Yeah.
Bury a sausage the night before, you have good weather the next day.
My friend brought the Richmond sausage from her house as well. She turned it up to my house when I got the sausages.
Did you plant it raw or did you plant
it? Was raw.
It was raw, okay.
Yeah, it was a raw sausage, and I dug deep. I was like, we're burying this. And it was boiling. It was perfect.
And Dani, you were doing Strictly recently.
Oh, James.
Do you know, it's actually the sweetest phone call I've ever got.
Oh, James, I needed you. I was like, I've actually rung you, didn't I?
You rung me. It was the sweetest phone call I ever got, and you got injured. You were doing Strictly. You got injured. I saw the message you put up on your Instagram, and you fractured your foot.
Yeah, so it's such a weird injury because I don't feel as much pain as I probably should.
What was the moment it happened?
We was practicing our quick step.
Nice.
And we did like a jump and fell, and my foot, it rolled and it made a noise. And I was like, no, it's fine. It's that
crunch.
And then Akita, bless him, we come and looked at my foot and stuff, and he was like, no, like, it's fine. You've just rolled your ankle. And you know when you think, why did I hear a noise? Like, why did I hear a noise? And then that day, he was like, listen, we spoke to the physio, and this physio was like, just go home, have the weekend. He seen me on the Friday, the physio, and had a little look at it, and he was touching it all because it was really swollen on like a certain point of my foot. And then I was a bit like, he was like, just keep icing it. Jarrod brought me home like a game ready machine, like an ice machine from football. And I was just icing. He was on me every 20 minutes, every hour on the dot. Ice. I was like on the sofa for like 48 hours just icing it. And then, because I was like, I'm going in on Monday, and I really wanted to like the swelling to go down.
Yeah.
And then went in on the Monday, the physio like looked at it and stuff, and he was like, well, listen, we're going for the MRI. He was like, because was doing like hops and stuff on it and doing the right thing. So I thought, surely I wouldn't be able to do that if it was really bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then the physio sent me for the MRI, and then the Tuesday morning, the phone call, oh my God, it was like someone had died. I know that sounds really dramatic.
No, it is.
But it was like,
it's the worst. It's the worst.
Sorry. And I was like, what? She was like, it's a fracture. I was like, but how is it a fracture? I was like, inject it. There's got to be something you've got out there. And obviously they just said to me, like, they are amazing though. Like all the Strictly team, like they have rung me, texted me, like they have been so supportive. And then I remember speaking to them, and they was just like, we're going to have to withdraw you. And I was like, but I don't want to, I'll be fine. So it don't matter, we'll go barefoot. You know, like I just really
breaks
didn't
your
want
heart.
it to
It
end.
breaks the
there's
heart.
Got to be something we can do.
When I did mine, I felt like I was in a nightmare.
I'm so glad. I mean,
I felt like I was in a nightmare during it. And it's unfair because you feel like something's out of your control that's happened, same as you. It's like, what the hell? Like, why? How? This has never happened. Like, why has this happened now?
Yeah, like jumping is so silly, isn't it?
I think you would have done really well as well.
Oh, James, I'm gutted. I feel so embarrassed about that thing. I'm so embarrassed.
Dani, can I say, just thank you for doing this.
No,
like,
thank you for
honestly, I want everyone to go and listen to your podcast, Live and Let Dyers. You host it with your dad, but also with your mum.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
It's really, you're just a lovely, amazing soul. You really, like,
Okay.
truly you are. And so I don't comments, all that kind of stuff. I hope you ignore all that crap.
Well, you're good at outing them, so.
Yeah, 100%. No, you're the greatest. I really appreciate it. Listen, we like to end the podcast with 8 questions. Are you ready for this?
Okay, let's go.
What's a saying or phrase that makes you smile or cheers you up?
Oh my God. Why
hard.
has my brain gone?
No, I know.
That cheers you up.
Yeah, what's a saying or phrase that someone says to you that you go, yeah, I like that?
Jarrod's mum says this. She goes, dream, believe, achieve.
Let's freaking go. Best compliment anyone's ever given you?
I don't know. What's my best compliment? It's terrible that I don't know how to answer this one, isn't it?
Some people can't. Some people find it hard.
I find it really hard. I've been told I've got a good bum. And I know I do. So I believe that one.
What scares you most about yourself?
My negativity.
Why do you think you have that?
I
Because you're
don't
such a
know,
bright
Sam.
soul.
I don't know what to do about it, babe. I'm trying.
Switch it in your head or
I
try to,
know.
even though you trick yourself
I need to start
sometimes.
meditation, maybe.
Yeah. When was the last time you cried?
Oh, last week.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it about?
Strictly.
What's something you can't let go of?
Oh, chocolate.
Yeah, favorite? Which one?
Dairy milk, fruit and nut. Always.
Banging. In the fridge? Out the fridge?
In the fridge.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
like soggy chocolate.
No, cold in the fridge. Cup
But I
of
like
tea?
a cup of coffee
Cup of
or
coffee?
a tea with a nice chocolate.
What's your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure, like any reality TV. Like I love reality TV so much. Married at First Sight, always.
Real Housewives?
I've never seen Real Housewives.
you not?
No.
Sophie, just honestly, she's obsessed. What turns you off?
Bad teeth.
What turns you on?
Like acts of service. You know, like when
Acts
I
of-
get home and like the house is like the dishwasher's
That's your love
unloaded.
language.
Like, thank you. Do you know what I mean? Things
so,
like
so
that.
if you come at Jarrod, he's cleaned everything.
I
He's done
adore
the-
him so much.
Really? Is
Yeah.
that like, let's freaking go?
Yeah, let's come on. When it's 8 o'clock, the kids are in bed.
Let's freaking go.
He'd rather play PlayStation.
What do you like most about yourself?
That I like to have a laugh.
You 100% do. Bonus, favorite swear word?
Probably fuck.
Dani, you're the greatest. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Thank
Dani,
you
you're
for having me.
amazing. Thank you.